And good evening, everybody. And I want to say welcome to Free to Heal. I'm Noreen McClendon. We come together every week. We are formerly incarcerated. We are the loved ones of formerly incarcerated, children of formerly incarcerated. And we come together every week so that we can heal from the wounds and ravages of mass incarceration. And it's a new year. And there's something, so for those of you who know Free to Heal, you might know that last year I was teaching an 8-week session in Folsom State Prison. And in Folsom, the guys asked me to apply for a grant so that I can expand the program there and also to more people and then do an advanced program. So in other words, in my book, some of you guys may not be aware that I wrote a book, but anyway, most of you do. Hurt People Highway, Identifying Unhealthy Elements in Relationships. And so the guy's position to me is, okay, now that we've begun to identify the unhealthy elements, what next? What next? And that is what they want me to teach in the advanced class. Well, over the Christmas holidays, between Christmas and New Year's, I had a very intense, very long conversation with Ms. Di. And one of the things, and it's a theme that has kept coming up over and over again, and that is, in order to change, you gotta move different. You cannot change and remain the same. So again, I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back.
I'm blowing a whistle.
No whistle, no whistle, no whistle. We not blow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay.
I'm just making sure
Okay.
we understand where we at. We in it. What is it?
This is 2024. It's a whole new eight. It's a whole new cycle.
What that mean?
It's a new cycle. Yes.
New beginning, new moves. Want me to blow the whistle?
No whistle, no whistle. Okay. So.
Why don't you go get a coach job?
So the deal is this. Oftentimes people say they want things to be different. They want to improve what they're doing. They want to be well, how do I get better? What's the actual steps that I take? Okay, for me to change. What do I do? What? Okay. The how-tos. How do we actually make a difference? How do we become different? I'm gonna tell y'all there's no secret. You just gotta move different. You gotta move different. If in fact I like to use this example because I think it's real clear and easy to understand. If you are a cigarette smoker and you decide, I don't want to smoke cigarettes no more, you can cut down cigarettes down to one a day, a half of one a day.
Give them the other down as you give me.
But at some point, you got to actually stop smoking.
Tell them what you told me.
What's that?
Like when they say, well, I quit smoking, but I just hit off my friend. You still smoking.
Right. She had a guy tell her, oh, well, I quit smoking, but really I don't smoke no more. I just like hit off of my friend's cigarettes. I said, no, what you are now is you just a bum smoker. You a leech. You a leech and cigarette smoker. And cigarettes is too expensive to be leeching off of each other. No, you need to buy your own. I couldn't even believe she told me they was $20 a pack. I thought I would die. And we were laughing because we were like, okay, so somebody said you got an extra cigarette. Ain't no extras in that pack. Ain't no extras. At $20 a pop, a pack, there's no way in the world there's no extra. So again, at some point, you need to just stop. Okay. What I wanted to do, and we're going to talk on this topic for a minute, because the truth of the matter is that people don't want to stop. They don't want to change their behavior. They want things to be new and different as long as they can remain the same. Long as I can keep doing everything the way I've been doing it, then change is okay. But if it requires for me to do anything, for me to be different, for me to actually have to take responsibility for my behavior, then all of a sudden
What am I doing?
It's not good. Yes, sir.
Or be like me and just don't quit.
Okay.
See, I'm gonna blow the whistle.
Okay, it's gonna be a flag on the play. It's gonna be a flag on the play. So what I want to do, I want to start, Terrell, because you've done several things with on reentry, right? And what I want to do is I want you to talk to me about. I'd like for you to talk to me about something that you had to make a change anywhere along the way. And what things how did you actually move different in order to facilitate that change?
I am shoot.
I'm gonna give it to y'all like this. Um, I had to change my thought process. That was the first thing I had to change was my thought process. Because my thought process coming out of jail is not like people on the street. And then I have to understand what I'm going to do when I get out, regardless of what everybody else is doing, what I'm going to do, how I have to make myself successful. Like Felix was saying, the sister told him he has to get himself together. And that's the first thing when you come home, having yourself together and knowing your gauges. Now, the thought process was the biggest thing so that I could actually endure whatever somebody else's that I was dealing with personality or characteristics. You know what I'm saying? So I have to know myself so that I can understand anybody and everybody that I'm around. So therefore, if I see that what they're doing is not conducive to me, I got to cut them off. But how do I cut them off without being crude, rude, or just, acting like I don't care? And basically, it's like, hey, you got to be, truthful with yourself. And if something is not healthy for you, you have to figure out how you have to disseminate yourself from that situation.
So wait, I'm
Everybody
gonna
don't
stop
have
you
that.
right there and ask you. I want you to come. I want you to answer it for me in this way. This is what I want because I want them to get to. How did you? What would happen when you say you had to change your thoughts? Right.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if the old thought came? What would you? How did you do that? How did you get your thoughts? So what was the process you used to change your thoughts?
The process that I used to change my thoughts, it was something that I used in when I was doing the drug program. And the camera, they call it camera. Check yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Self-talk, check yourself. When you thinking irrational, check yourself before you move in that rate. Because the thoughts is gonna always come, but the actions is what you want to stop from coming about if it's not a positive movement or something that's gonna be conducive to your freedom. So when you recognize it or it starts to trigger you off, you have to catch it. You have to catch it yourself before you jump into that water. You know what I mean? And if you can catch it yourself, you can redirect your movement because your thoughts are there. Your thoughts came, man, I'm gonna do this. Wait a minute, hold on. Self-check. That's not cool because
Right.
that's not going to be the desire that I want to get. So hold up. That's thinking up there. Let me get rid of that real quick because that's gonna send me back to prison. So let me self-check myself and let me see the different route I can go. And it has nothing to do with the other person. It's all about your individual self because you can take yourself out of a situation like that. You know what I mean? Physically, you can, hey, okay, and just leave, beat it.
Right.
But sometimes that mindset has to change to where when you recognize you see it's not good for you, respond in an appropriate way that's going to be positive for you. And just stand on it. And you have to be strong. And it takes a lot of strength to move different and to actually kind of ostracize yourself from other people that you love and that you feel love you and that now that you're home seeing because their thought process is much much different than yours
Right.
and uh they don't have the same responsibilities weighing on their shoulders as you do. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
a whole different ball game. It's a whole different thought process. And knowing where we came from to where we are now, I tell people all the time, this is child's play for me. society is child's play for me because it's so simple. Because the people out here just they sheeple. You know, and if you look around, everybody following. Everybody following. It's only a few people that's actually leading and doing their own thing and trailblazing. So it's easy for me not to see the sheeple, you know what I'm saying, and then see and then see the people that are the trailblazers,
Right.
like yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for me to deal with that. And it's easy for me to shut people down because I have that on and off switch like a light. You know, when I see something, and brothers, y'all been down 20 some years, y'all know what I'm talking about. Sure, you know what I'm talking about. You can
You had
cut
to
that shit
learn.
on and cut it off when you want to because you trained yourself to do that while you were in prison. So now that you come home, you still have to use those same mechanisms that you had in there to protect yourself from flashing on somebody.
Right.
You got to use those same mechanisms.
And I'm grateful that you talked about the thought process and how you change your thoughts. Because one of the things that happens oftentimes is that people say, well, I need to change my thoughts, but then they still think the same things. They still allow those, because listen, one of the things you said that is important is that the old thoughts are going to come until you get to the place where those thoughts are no longer there. You have to train yourself to think a different thought. Like literally, they say guide your thoughts like your life depends on it, because it does, right?
It really
But
does.
you got to be able to do that for yourself and for everybody around you. So that's the first thing I would say. That comes in the first stage of knowing who you are. One of the other things that we talked about is that one of the reasons that people don't make the change is because once you've identified what your crap is, I now know my problem is jelly beans. Okay, that's my problem. Okay, that's my problem. Now it's going to require me to realize, how did I get jelly beans as a problem? Something in my life. Maybe it was that the only time I felt happy or whatever, or when somebody had done something bad to me, they gave me jelly beans to make me feel better. And so now I'm hooked on jelly beans. Okay. Well, guess what? I got to acknowledge how I got that. So I'm going to use my situation for myself that I wrote about in the book. I had a thing with men that I always felt like I needed to be the one doing all the work in the relationship, or else they may not stay. Where did I get that from? I got that from my dad. When I went to my Nana took me to see my dad in the hospital. He was in there for drug treatment. He was a heroin addict. It was an inpatient treatment facility. And my Nana said on the way over there, she said, well, your dad's not well, so you guys got to be on your best behavior. Now, I hadn't seen him in months. So, of course, I want to see my dad. I got my own needs, but all I'm thinking about is him. Now, he looked normal. He had on hospital clothes, but he looked normal. He lifted me up. He threw me in the air. He let me walk on his shoes. Him and my grandparents played pinochle. Like, everything looked normal, but it's something wrong. So don't forget you telling him what you need. You make sure that he's okay. Well, that's fine for my dad, but that's not good in a relationship with a man. And if I'm doing that for every man in my life, but guess what? I had to acknowledge the painful truth that it was what I thought about myself and what I thought about relationships that caused me that pain. Okay, so that was my jelly beans. Now that I figured that out, now that was the hard part. I figured out it was jelly beans. Now I figured out why. That's hurtful. And people don't want to go through the hurtful. They don't want to acknowledge the hurtful truth. Somebody betrayed me. Somebody sold me out. Whatever it is.
It always feels good to point the finger. It feels awesome to point the finger, but instead of taking actions for yourself. Because if you take actions for yourself, then you have to identify all that pain for yourself.
Why do I have to raise my hand and you can just talk?
Okay, but go and just start talking then, fool. Look, go on.
I'm about to blow the whistle.
Okay, but wait. While they're fighting, can you please go ahead and say what you was gonna say?
I still, matter of fact, I said something to Sweetheart like on the way up here. Because they had all these hot water heaters on the side of the building. And I'm thinking, why don't you get a truck and grab a couple of them son of bitches? I do see a lot of things And in my mind, I think, man, that would be so damn easy. But in my heart, no, that those days are over.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need that. But it don't mean I don't think about it.
Right. And that's the beauty of it. So now let me tell you where the change is. Is exactly what Terrell said. Like you said, he just checked himself. He checked his thoughts at the door, self-check, right? But he also moved differently because what he would have done in the past was he would have gone and got that truck and come by there one day and take some of them hot water heaters. But he actually made the change. He moved differently. He had the thought, but his behavior was different.
I'm too old to pick it up.
Okay. He too old to pick it up. Well, whatever. But whatever the reason is, at the end of the day, the behavior actually changed. So a lot of people get stuck where they don't want to do the work. They don't want to acknowledge their own, because like Diane said, it's easier to point fingers at other people than to acknowledge and admit my part in all of it. If I can point my finger at you, then I don't have to take responsibility. But this is the reality. At some point, you gotta move different. You have to move different. Terrell, I see your hand up. So let's see.
And this is just
oh wait 1 second, Asia, and then I'll come right back to you. Go ahead, sweetie.
And this is just for everybody who won't be down on yourself. Change is one of the biggest fears in human behavior. Public speaking is one of the biggest fears in human behavior. Asking for help is another biggest fear among human behavior. So we ride with three major things: asking for help, changing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And whatever
those things,
yeah.
I mean, they hard.
They
you know
are.
what I mean? In public speaking, you know,
they're
even in this form, even in a one-on-one form, it still might be hard for you to talk. That's talking to somebody that's public. So those three things we have to kind of challenge ourselves and embrace all the time. And being a person coming out of prison, don't give a damn about what the next person thinks about what you're thinking and what you're doing and how you're moving, because they didn't do a day in jail for you. And they're not going to do a second in jail for you. And you know where you come from. So you have to stay on yourself. You got to be hard on yourself. Just think if you got a super duper PO and that's you. And anything you mess up, you can go back to prison. Keep that at the front of your forehead and it'll keep you in line. So when those negative thoughts come, they gonna come because we're the yin and the yang, period. We gonna think negative and positive, but you don't act on the negative actions and you check yourself. You know what I'm saying? The negative action is gonna come there. Depression is gonna come there. Anxiety is gonna come. But it's how you respond to those things when they come, because they're gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Guaranteed.
There's no way to get around it. There is no way to get around it. At some point, you're going to have those thoughts, even when you have declared that you're healed from something. What'll happen is you're going to be tested on it, and I liken it unto this. I liken it unto when you move from third grade to fourth grade, or when you move from freshman year to sophomore year in college. There's final exams. You got to take an exam to prove that you actually have understood and mastered these particular lessons. Mastering these lessons have allowed you and qualified you to move forward. Okay, so now you can't.
You just get big in the class. They want to get rid of you.
No, that is so not what happens. No, you gotta pass the exams to move on to the next one. Come on, slide over a little bit. You said you wanted to say something, sweetie.
Oh, I was going to comment on what you guys were saying. I was going to say that it takes approximately like 21 days to break a bad habit.
Yeah.
And it's more so self-discipline. Like, you know, that's one thing that a lot of us don't have, like, you know, it's very hard to conquer that discipline within yourself, especially like when you have new beginnings. Like a lot, like the most common one is like New Year, New You start working out.
Right.
You know, the first day, January 1st, the gym was packed. I went to the gym yesterday. I mean, I could park anywhere I wanted to. You know what I mean? So it's like the self-discipline, and like you said, like you got to be accountable for your actions, but making that change is the disciplinary form of that. So
yes. And that's where the change takes place. And it brings to mind something too. That's the consistency in the change thought and the change behavior, right? It's over time, it's the consistency, those two things coming together. But no matter how you cut it, you gotta move different. You cannot change your way. You got it right. Isn't that the truth, right?
Move out of your own way. That's right. Everybody's problem. I had that problem for years. I was always in my own way, but trying to figure out why is it always going this way? Why is it always going that? Because I was in my own way. Now to move out of my own way, and things is working out for me.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I will say this: the hardest challenge or obstacle to overcome is yourself. Even when it comes to things like forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. The hardest person to forgive is you. And forgive yourself for not knowing, for not handling it different, for whatever those things are. Usually you are the hardest person for you to forgive. So, but I will tell you this, I saw something the other day that holds true, and that is happiness is an inside job. It's what takes place inside of you. And that's where we need to be to make sure that we are making the changes and that we are going to be happy. Terrell, is your hand still up or was it up from the last time?
No, I raised it again because I wanted to speak on the situation. The thing about it is, what's the thought I just had?
It just came and went. That's okay, because we all over 25 and they come and go at our age, Terrell, and it'll come back to you. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it, baby. Don't even worry about it. We want you what? We 20 after 25. Look, and I'm way past that. In fact, y'all gonna be 60 on Thursday. Okay, gonna be 60 on Thursday. Okay. So I know how it go, Terrell. I know how it go. That thought come and go. Wait, but it'll come back. Look, we're not gonna worry about it right now. We're just gonna keep moving, and we're gonna let the thought come back to you. I want to ask you, Miss Ward, if you would just chime in on any of the things that maybe you have had to change and how you did those things. Can you unmute for me, Cheryl? Oh, look at her. What you doing?
Trying to get some chips out my drawer because I'm hungry. Ask me, what's the specific question, please?
So the question again was, anything that you've had to change, for example, that you had to since you've been home, how have you done it? What did you do? What did you do different? How did you move different?
I think it was my circumstances that I got a chance to take care of my mother after being gone for so many years, and she was still alive. So when Felix was talking about that, and I would know I was feeling like you want to cry for that kind of thing, and I think that's what gave me a lot of peace and allowed me to like let stuff go and and shine stuff on. Some stuff I can't shine on because I get upset about a lot of stuff still, but I can deal with it easy and stuff. So
easier, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that makes a difference, right? And
yes.
but again, at the end of the day, it still is about if you want it to be different, you're gonna have to move different. You don't get to wait a minute. Look like Terrell might have remembered y'all. Wait, hold up. Wait, we gotta go. Wait, we gotta wait. It came
Go
back.
ahead. I wrote it down. Go ahead. I wrote it down.
So this one I was just saying to somebody. This is the thing that
Terrell. What was it, Terrell?
No, go ahead, Cheryl. I wrote it down. Go ahead, Cheryl.
No, when he said he wrote it down, I'm thinking like he doing good. So this is the thing I've been this week 3 times I've touched on this subject about the men who are coming out have to do the work to come out, right? You can do your time and come out, but a lot of people come out because they've done the work. And then just like James always says, you've done the work, but your family hasn't. So you've changed, and your family an expectation is that you're the same as when you went in, and that's not true. And Terrell can expound on that, please.
Right, yeah, but because for one thing, nobody ever comes out the same person that went in. That's just not going to ever happen. The person who went into prison is never the person that comes out. The person who was in prison doesn't necessarily apply out here because it's a different universe altogether. The prison has its own hierarchy, its own rules, its own politics, its own everything that don't necessarily translate to on this side of the wall. So, but we're gonna go ahead, Terrell, now and we're gonna give you that spot back.
No,
You're right.
I wanted to say that. I wanted to say this. We weren't trained to know ourselves, and we wasn't trained to identify healthy relationship. We didn't grow up like that. People didn't. We weren't. Well, I know I wasn't. I'm gonna just put it like that. And then I know a lot of people in the Black culture wasn't trained to know ourselves. So the majority of us went to prison. And that's where we learned ourselves and we got to know ourselves because we got in touch with a higher power and we had to stand on our own and we had to get to know ourselves. So being that we did how many years we did in prison, we learned ourselves. We started knowing ourselves. We started understanding what is a healthy relationship, what is a toxic relationship, and how they might coexist or run into each other. But if you're in prison, you're not in an intimate relationship with a woman, so you don't even get a chance to expound on that until you come home. You know what I mean? Because even talking to somebody, a woman, or even getting conjugal visits, it's only a certain amount of time that you have to do that. And then it's only a certain amount of time that you have to actually play into that circumstance because it's a time limit. But the time you've been in prison, you have actually gathered the information within yourself to know who you are and working on yourself. So when you bring that work out here to the world, it's a gift, but it's also the work that you have to continue to grow and carry with you and work even harder because now you're using all those coping mechanisms to deflect the negative energy. You know, you're using your strength to not have a nervous breakdown because of some simple stuff that you can't get accomplished out here that's beyond your control.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of frustration that if you don't know yourself, you would just instantly flash. But the fact that you got to know yourself and you strengthened up and you have self-control and self-discipline in prison, you brought that home. Now you're able to pay attention and see what's going on and be like, that ain't cool. That's not cool. I ain't doing that. That is crazy. So you can see things and then you can identify them and you can compartmentalize them to know what you will and won't do.
And what will work and what will move you forward to the level of success that you're looking for. Right.
Yes. And all of that comes with the actual experience of doing it because coming home, everything is new. Like I told my class yesterday, everything I'm pretty much doing is new because I'm doing something different than what I did the last time I was home. Right. And I'm expounding my horizons. So everything I got, all the challenges I'm getting, they're new, but I'm embracing them because it's a whole different realm of life that I'm going to that's positive. And I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder or catching the case or somebody hurt me for teaching and helping and doing the things I do in the way I live now because I move different. I move on a spiritual, peaceful level, and I have that energy. So no matter where I go in the city, who I go around, people, youngsters, Crips, Bloods, essays, whoever, I'm coming with that spiritual, positive light.
And they feel that. Let me tell you something. You can go into any hood. You know, people want to talk about gangs and all that kind of stuff. You can go into any hood because when you carry yourself a particular way, that energy shines out of you. That's not to say that you won't find somebody a random person or whatever, who might want to challenge that. But that is not going to be the norm every single day because you're different. You're not going to attract to you. A lot of times people don't realize that because of their negative thinking and they're constantly thinking about what is worse and this is going to happen and the bad, they're attracting that to them. They're giving off that energy. And that's what comes to, if this is what you think you want, we got that for you. Right? Whatever you think you need to make you, if you a taker, you're gonna find you somebody to take from. And the person who's the giver, you're gonna find that to satisfy that particular thing that you need. Okay, so a lot of people don't understand how important it is to keep your thoughts positive, and that's the fastest way to get you to actually make change. But no matter how you do it and how long it goes on, at some point, you gotta move different. You cannot do the same thing. So oftentimes when people come home from prison, they find out that they have to change their circle of friends. Even people who just went to AA and Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. And I will say this for people who were involved in gangs. You got to remove yourself from that. I know
the places you want to go to.
Right.
Even the places you want to go to, you probably can't go there no more because you know it's going to cause a reaction.
Yes, and those people, but you got to move in a different circle. If you want different, you cannot. I have a friend who, for health reasons, she stopped drinking and stuff like that. Well, she was saying that there are some of her friends that she had that no longer want to hang out with her because she doesn't drink. She's like, I'm still the same person, but if they feel differently, then they don't have to hang out with her anymore. They don't have to. But she's not going to be doing the drinking that she used to do because it's not good for her health, right? So this is where you got to move different. For her health, she needed to not drink anymore. It didn't matter what nobody thinks about it or whatever. She's okay being around them, but it's interesting because they're not okay being around her. A lot of times is people will say, you blowing my high. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, blowing your high because I'm not acting the way that I used to, and it makes you uncomfortable, right?
Acting like y'all.
Right, or acting like you guys are acting
like everybody in the room.
Right, but again, because I gotta move different. I'm different, things are different, I want different, and so I'm required to move different. One of the things too that I wanted to touch on that Terrell brought up that brought to my mind is that we don't often enter relationships intentionally. Most times, I know most of the relationships I entered into, oh, he's so cute, or he thought I was cute, and we talked on the phone, and next thing you know, we in a relationship. Okay, it wasn't intentional. And I encourage everybody to be intentional about being in a relationship. Number one, you got to know yourself. All those courses that you took in the prison, a lot of people took them because they thought they were just trying to get past the board. But what winds up happening is you learn a little something trying to get out from behind those walls. And like you said, everybody else wasn't taking those self-help classes. Everybody else wasn't trying to better themselves in that way, in a very intentional, concrete way of changing, of being changed. The people that you left behind when you went to prison, those people have changed too, because life has happened to them. I think we've talked about it a couple of times, like with children, because the parents have been gone. A lot of times things happen to people's children that are not good, and the parents don't know, and the parents are having to try to deal with that, but the children still feel the pain of everything, and the parent has to allow them to just get that out of their system. You can't argue with them and tell them they don't have a right to feel that way or none of that kind of stuff. You just got to take whatever the blows are that they give you at that point so that they can heal. Right? Give them that opportunity, and you can hopefully heal together, right? But at least you give them an opportunity to feel what they feel and not making them feel like somehow there's something wrong with them because they don't they don't feel the way that you do, or they don't feel the way that you think that they should. Children experience things. Now, some children had great experiences. They were not traumatized necessarily in a physical sense, but emotionally, anytime you take away the parental source, a child is going to suffer in some shape, form, or fashion because their parent is not there. That's just the bottom line. And you got to allow them to have that so that they can go. I see your hand, Terrell.
No, I just wanted to speak on the fact that back in the day, when people got out, oh, you can't be around people on parole. You can't be around no body on probation. It's a violation. Why was that? It wasn't because y'all was just in prison. It was because y'all had the same mind-like set. Y'all had the same likeness in the mindset. So if it was in prison together, you know what I'm saying? you built a camaraderie with each other. You had a bond. So you had each other's back. You know how each other think. You know how each other think. So when you got on the street, you know what you two thinking. But people out here in the world, if you get around people that is not thinking like you, now it's a whole different ball game. And that's why people coming home are more fixed to dealing with people who have been in prison. You know what I'm saying? Just to have a likeness mindset, or people who understand or have embraced the people learning coming from home so they can get better. You know what I mean?
That's one of the reasons we do. That's one of the main reasons we do this, Terrell, is because
yes,
so that people know you're not alone. You're not the only one feeling like a fish out of the water. You're not the only one struggling trying to get back with your kids. You're not the only one frustrated because the DMV is messing with your ID
and it's not an overnight process. And
right, and it's not going like you planned it in there. You know, it's so
that was the system's fix.
Yeah,
don't get help from somebody like you.
Right.
You know, don't ask nobody. That was their fix. Or you can't be around nobody. Wow, we were just in prison together. We was doing everything in prison, learning together, everything. Now we're on the street. We can't be around each other because they want to separate you. They want to separate you from the like-mindedness that's going to keep you on your structure and doing the right thing. So now you fall into society. Now the whole society has grass reentry.
Right.
A lot of people out here that now you can go to. The resources are there. The programs are there. The people have a level of understanding. Even if they haven't been in prison, they have the level of understanding how to help you coming out of prison and not be judgmental. So we're living in a whole different age. The pendulum has swung for reentry people to have more balance and more resources and education to actually, definitely opportunity. They got jobs out here that's strictly for people who have lived experience.
Right.
So, there's opportunities out here. You just have to stay grounded and stay dealing with the same like-minded people. Just like you was in prison, I ain't messing with them cats over there. You got to do the same thing out here. Compartmentalize people and understand this. You've been in jail 27 years. These youngsters don't know you, so there's no reason for you to fear them. They don't disrespect you if you walk your head up high. If they're gonna say, "How you doing, OG? How you doing, brother?" They're gonna respect you.
Because it's the way you carry yourself. It's the way you carry yourself.
Exactly.
You're not still carrying yourself like a gangbanger. You're not still right. You're not carrying yourself like
you're not a threat. You're not perceived as a threat to them. You perceived as somebody who is purified, or OG is somebody. I know something about that dude. I don't know him, but he just got a look. We have a glow when we come out of prison. It's just that's what it is.
And some people, those people who did the work, Terrell, those people who did the work, right? Because if some folks come out of prison, they come out different, but it ain't for the better, okay? They was with the business on the inside. Now they all messed up. And now they all messed up and trying to figure out why it ain't going well for them out here. But Pike wanted to say something. So let me let him have his piece. Go ahead.
You know what? When I was a child, and my father and mother and grandparents and whoever, when they used to drink, my mom and dad overboarded it, but I used to like to watch my grandparents and stuff drink because they always seemed jolly. Booze is just, you can do too much and then things will change. But you can have a good time.
Absolutely.
It's up to the people.
Yeah, I have a beer now maybe once every 2-3 months. And I'm happy with that.
Right.
Because if I have two, I gotta ask you if I can lay down.
But let me just tell you this. Let me say this about that too. Okay. So funny story. So my mom's birthday is April every year. And what I used to do with the staff when she passed in 2004, moving forward, we would have a celebration. I would let the staff celebrate and we would have drinks and we would have food and all this kind of stuff. And so one year, it was like everybody was having so much fun. The energy was high, right? But see, me being from the projects and being from the hood, my spidey senses told me it's time to pack up. So you can get out of here now. You know why? Because some of them on that brown liquor, and when that brown liquor hit, baby, then here come the tears, right? So they go from, right? So I start packing up. Man, I got just about packed, and one of my employees starts. And then next thing I know, I had 3 or 4 other female employees, and they crying. I was like, damn, I was this close to getting out of here without the drag of the drama. Because look, that brown liquor is all good till it ain't. Okay, it's all fun and games until it's not no more, right? And so, yes, alcohol is that kind of a thing. You can have fun, and they call it the happy juice, right? Yeah, you could do that. It's also a truth serum. People say that. That's true too. But look, some of that truth be too much. Sometimes some of that truth you need to keep for you. You keep it to yourself, right? So I want to give an opportunity. I would love to hear maybe Darius from you, if you don't mind, and talk about anything that you'd like to change or anything that you have had to change and how you went about doing those things.
Well, for me, it was my mind frame, my mindset that I had. From when I went into prison. I went to prison at the age of 19.
Okay.
And, getting out at 49 is a lot different, because a lot of the things y'all was saying is true. I went back to my old neighborhood to help my sister move out. About 30 little youngsters on the corner. And they wasn't up but 2 houses down, but actually 2 of them knew me. And, because our families is that close. And so they looked, and I heard somebody, they said my little gang name. And the rest of them little dudes said, oh, I ain't going down there. He don't look like he don't want to be bothered, But, my homeboys that I grew up with, they came, welcome home and all that stuff like that. But like you said, it's the vibe that you give off, And for me, it's the vibe I give off. I'm not trying to be negative, even though that does creep in. I'm trying to be positive. When I walk down the street, I'm not walking down the street trying to find something. I'm walking down the street to get to where I need to get to and get back.
Yes.
I'm not trying to lollygag, none of that. I'm trying to go to A to B, And if I ain't gotta walk, then I'm jumping in the car or something,
Right.
But I think, my biggest thing was that, the new mind frame that I had, the new mindset that I had coming out of prison. The way I started thinking, back then I thought selfishly. I thought for myself, I wasn't thinking for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Now, I got nieces and nephews, who want me to watch them, go all through school. I got baby cousins and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm over here babysitting my cousin kids, So this, I'm all into the family now. At first I was all into the streets and having a little time with the family. So that's my thing.
And look, and it's I think Terrell mentioned it earlier. Being the babysitter extraordinaire, you ain't throwing rocks at the pen. You ain't got to worry about them looking for you if you just babysitting, right? If you ain't babysitting that piece on the corner. You see what I'm saying? You ain't got to throw it in the. Yeah. You ain't got to throw the babies in the bushes. You ain't got to do none of that stuff when the police come. You just babysitting, and it's real kids, and that's all it is, right? And so you don't have to worry about going back to the penitentiary because you doing what you're supposed to do for the family, and it's a totally different mindset, and it's very difficult though. Again, when you come home, one thing you said about the kids that knew you, one of the things I talk about often is how when you go into prison, if you was that guy, you was great and this and that, and you was the provider, they can't wait for you to come back. The legend of whoever you are grew while you was incarcerated, and they want you to be that guy when you come home. If you was the terror, you was the Tasmanian devil, you was the one known for putting in work and doing this and doing that, they get terrified when you come home. Oh no, I don't want to see him or whatever. But the reality is you're different. They just don't know you're different. But the legend of who you are and what you did when you were on the street before you went to the pen grew. Whatever you did, they got the stories on that is way higher now than what it was when you were on the street. So it just becomes the kind of situation where, yeah, some people are like, oh no, we don't want to see him. But that's okay because you're different and you're moving different. And I appreciate you for sharing that with me.
And it's on a respect level too.
Also, too, I add this though. Back in the day when I see the police at the corner, I saw off running. Now I see the police, I kind of wave at them.
Right? You ain't scared of them. In your Bernie Mac voice, huh? I ain't scared.
I ain't riding dirty, so I can wave at them. Hey, how y'all doing?
That's right. I ain't scared of y'all because y'all ain't got nothing on me. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't violating nothing. And what you want to do? You want holler? Hey, how y'all doing?
And look, just quickly, that is called respect. When them young men seen him down there and knew who he was, and said, "Oh, we ain't going in there, we ain't playing him." That was respect. And at the same time, those same young men, the respect they gave Darius, he can go push up on that same crowd and he gonna have all of their ears.
Sure
so that same respect level that they have for you, you can actually implement something positive in their life because they do respect you for who you were and who the family knows you by, and you still have that family ground in that area. So always remember that. It was out of respect that they said, "Oh no, I ain't going down there." You know what I'm saying? We know who that is. You know what I mean? We ain't going down there because he ain't playing them games. We know his legend. You know what I'm saying? But the moment he say, "Hey, y'all want to holler at y'all," they're gonna be all ears because
all
it's
ears.
Respect. It's respect, man.
That's awesome. It really is. It really is, and that's really important. Wait, we got yes, sir.
You know what I don't understand is when a person's out here and he's in a gang and it's all about homeboy and all this good happy horse shit. But once they go to prison, they don't hear from nobody as far as the gang's concerned until he gets released, and then they want to throw him a party. Yeah. I'm thinking, what kind of crap is that? That as long as you're in the street and can do something wrong for him?
So at the end of the day, I will tell you what it is in a very short 2 words. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. Because listen, for the most part, the best thing that the homie's gonna do for you is screw your woman while you gone. That's the best they got for her, okay? And for you. They're not taking care of your kids. They're not doing that. You may get somebody, send you something for a couple years. Once you down 10, 15, 20, a lot of them forget who you are until, again, like you say, till it's time to come home. And so a lot of it is there's not as much what they're selling. And what was the easy selling point was family, unity, support, and all of those things. But that's not the reality of how it worked. In addition to the fact that when you go inside a prison, because they had it set up, the institutions have set it up so much on racial lines, you got to click up. People had to click up. It required that in a lot of instances. So again, it was all nonsense. Like Terrell, you just mentioned it. You could come out and deal with these people on the street. We was just dealing with each other in the penitentiary. Now we can't deal with each other on the street. It's nonsense. One of the things I want to say is that when you go in, Darius said 19 and coming out at 49, that's a lot of lifetime. That's a full lifetime right there. And what happens is that now people are going to expect you to function at the level of a 49-year-old. But the truth of the matter is your life experiences are as a 19-year-old out on the street. You got to learn this whole universe all over. You got to learn adult things. You got to learn how to handle adult things. Because
exactly.
you've never had that. I see you, Cheryl. Let me let you go ahead because I see you waving.
Mindset.
Oh, okay. So I just want to say, so yes, it requires that you learn new things, but I don't want you ever to be ashamed or embarrassed of what you don't know. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask. When you don't ask for help, that is you setting yourself up for failure. People will help you. Pike often tells a story here about the fact that he is not able to read. He had a brain injury when he was a child. Well, he used to be ashamed, but now he said any store that he goes to, anywhere that he goes, he just tells people, I can't read, and can you help me? And the people always help him. People are not inherently bad. Okay. And they will give you the kind of assistance that you need, but you got to have the courage to ask for it. At this point, we're getting short on time, and I want to ask Steve if he would like to chime in, unmute and chime in on any of the thoughts you had about this group so far this evening. Okay, wait, let's see. You got to unmute. I'm gonna click ask you to unmute and see what happens. Did you click it to unmute? Wait 1 second.
Okay, I got you.
There you go.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. You're covering the microphone or something, I think, babe.
I'm sorry. I enjoyed the group.
Okay.
And
wait, you covered it?
I said I enjoyed the group. I really like being here. The chair.
I can't hear you again.
I wonder what's the problem here. Let me see.
Now, what you doing right now? We can hear you now.
Okay, you hear me now. Okay. I enjoyed the group, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again next weekend. I was raising my hand because I got about 15% left of my battery. I didn't charge my battery. I just happened to go to I seen a meeting. I wrote it down. I logged on. I said, I got to go to this meeting.
Wonderful.
And like I said, I was unprepared, but I'm glad I did. And I would log in next week again on what's the day? Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yes, sir.
Every
we'll
Tuesday
see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday at 6:00. Every Tuesday at 6:00.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for being here with us, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I love you guys, and everybody drive safe. And I'll talk to you again Tuesday.
All right. Have a good one. Be well.
And all of them have the same meeting codes and everything. So just say those meeting codes because she has the same meeting codes every Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Tuesday, the same one. You don't need a new link or anything to get it. Roberta, I want you to chime in for me. Come on.
Yes, please.
Come on. No, because
please. Come on up there, Roberta.
Come on, Roberta. I thought she was asleep. I thought she was asleep. Come on, Roberta.
No, I don't. Everybody's like, I hate when this happens. So, yeah.
Yeah, what?
No.
Yeah, what?
Mine is somewhere else. I didn't check. I wasn't in on. I heard the conversation, but
I hope so. You've been sitting there for an hour.
But I heard.
Okay, well,
this was the conversation you should have been listening to.
She said, "Don't." Okay, so anyway, but anyway, okay, now, and then, and so Felix, I want you to unmute if you can, and give me any of your final thoughts.
So yeah, for me, it's like today, I ran into some issues, kind of got almost got violated for 180 days, and it was being out, like I said, getting caught up in the world, just taking care of my family, but not understanding that I made a commitment to program, to go to groups, to be part of the Francisco Homes policy. And I had stopped because of taking care of my family. And it just seems like when you're doing the right thing, sometimes the right thing is always good, but we got to take our time, like I said, to take care of ourselves and our responsibilities. And it's hard because, it's my family and I love them. And I got to be here for them, for what they have left. And, kind of being told like, I felt like they were against me, like telling me no, but to make me understand that, look, you made a commitment to the board. You told the board that you're going to do a 6-month program. You're going to go to groups, so with the blessing, they allowed me to continue on with, they only said, look, just take 12 more groups. You paid the program in full. And, we understand you have your family issues, but you need to take time for yourself. You're still in the recovery. You're still, it's not about everybody else, because if you focus on everybody else, you're not going to have time to focus on yourself and you're going to get lost. I understand, but it's just like seeing everybody, and just so everybody can see, this is my mom right here. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
These are all my friends.
How are you?
We're so happy to see you. Yeah. And I really
so it's just, trying to get her in and out in daily routines.
Yeah, it's tough,
the task,
And the thing of it is,
I understand, it's like we get comfortable, and it was hard for me to see it, like I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not breaking rules. I'm not committing a new crime. but it was, you had the responsibility, you had a commitment to yourself, and you had a commitment to the board. Like, we're going to let you out, but these are the terms that we're going to let you out. So, by the grace of God, they didn't violate me for 180 days. Like my PO said, he goes, you almost lost 180 days. And, it's not only going to affect you, it's going to affect your mom. Your mom's getting used to you. And now she has to start all over if she's still around when you were to get out.
And I
They're
want to
full
say
of crap.
about that,
They're full of
Felix,
crap.
is that oftentimes what starts out as a good principle, in this instance, I'll say taking care of your family, once it's taken too far and you put that ahead of what you have committed to yourself, then it becomes a violation and it turns into something else. So you have to make sure that your priorities, your responsibilities, and those things come first, right? But again, it almost costs you, but hallelujah, because your heart is pure and trying to do what you're supposed to be doing. And so the intent of your heart, the universe knows what that is and helped you, but it's trying to show you something. While you take care of everybody else, the first person you got to take care of is you and your own responsibilities, because that's what you're responsible for. That's what you got to do. Everything else is what you might want to do and what you feel in your heart to do. But taking care of you and living up to your responsibilities is what you got to do. And one of the things about street life is it's kind of hit and miss, like today I got to be dedicated to the hood and tomorrow I don't, right? Whatever that is, right? Okay. But in life, if you really want to succeed, you're going to have to, it's the discipline that Asia talked about. There's a self-discipline that has to be there, but you got to put you first. And so making that commitment, and I'm so glad that you joined us this evening so that, we can talk about it. And I know also to be in prayer for you and your mom and, and your dad and all of your siblings, to make sure that to pray that you guys have peace and the strength to make it through every day, because it is a challenge. No matter what, intellectually, your heart is going to feel something different. And your mom's beautiful, by the way. Your
And
mom's
also,
thank you. I know my
Right.
second and
also,
third parole officers just showed up. My two sisters are here right now.
Yeah.
and
All
also,
right.
Felix,
Wait, Terrell wants to say one thing to you.
Felix, I'm proud of you,
sir.
man. The thing about it is you have good communication skills. If you didn't have good communication skills, your PO would have locked your ass up. So your communication skills and the person that you are and how you articulate yourself is able to show that PO that you're out here helping your family. Yeah, you want to prioritize yourself, but you have an empathy for your family. But the communication that you have displayed to your PO saved you from that violation.
Yeah.
Because you're doing what you're supposed to do and you communicated the situation and they know it. So they're giving you a lot of leniency and a lot of leeway, but just continue to communicate, man. I take my hat off to you and congratulations coming home, brother Steve. Everybody that's been on this call is fresh home, man. Congratulations, and just stay focused and stay patient.
Thank you. And so I'm gonna give everybody in the room an opportunity to check out. Any final thoughts, Pipe?
You already out.
You done?
You already out.
Oh Lord. Okay, Miss Asia.
Just in a different perspective, like I said, my relative just got home, and like how you guys said, him and my dad was like, they grew up together, but they fell off because he felt like my dad had turned his back on him. But they actually got to talk at the funeral we was at, and my dad told him, like, I was just 21 years old and they wanted control of all my accounts. They thought I was moving in money for people. And then they got to talk it out, and it wasn't like, I didn't turn my back on you. I just had baby. I think, I didn't give them the feds that much access to me. So, just different perspectives of why people shut off. So,
welcome. Happy New Year to everybody and welcome home. And it was a nice conversation once again tonight.
Thank you. And Miss Bird already checked out. Anything you want to say? All right.
She made you?
Yeah, and so anyway, this has been another wonderful session of Free to Heal. We thank you guys for being here. We will be back here next Tuesday. And this is again where we come every week to try to heal from the ravages of mass incarceration, heal those wounds and those things, and make sure that everybody knows you're not alone in the struggle. We're all in this struggle with you guys. You can check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook,
Instagram.
all the social media platforms. And we will see you guys next week. Have a good one. You want me to put on the whistle? No, we don't want you
Bye.
to.
Good night, everybody.
No.
Good night.